little bit of fancy coffee today in my Chicago Marathon coffee mug. Now, hazelnut is typically a flavor that I only have at Christmas time, but today it feels a little bit like Christmas because I'm talking about a brand new training block for the Chicago Marathon 2025. And this is episode 1. I'm going to be documenting my journey from now until race day, and then a little bit beyond that as I post videos about the race itself and the expo and all that kind of good stuff. I've done this in the past, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, and you guys have been super supportive. So if you're here and you clicked on this video, my guess is you're an avid runner, and maybe you're training for something, or maybe you just enjoy watching videos about the journey and about the process. And this should be a fun one. This should be a really fun one. It's going to be a lot different than what I've done in the past for these types of videos, just so that you know. So give you an idea of what's coming up. So yes, I'll be posting regular updates about the workouts that I'm running and the progress that I'm making. But unlike previous videos where I've documented this kind of a journey, I'm not starting with a solid base already. In fact, I'm not even starting from a couch position, but rather more of a gurney or a doctor's office position. And that's because I'm coming off an injury and it's still healing. So if you've been on the channel for a while, you already know this, but if you haven't and you clicked on this and you're brand new and you're going to follow us along and join us on this Chicago Marathon 2025 journey together, I greatly appreciate it. So thanks for joining us. But I broke the fourth metatarsal bone in my left foot about 11 weeks ago, and it's been slow to heal. They say it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to heal, but it's been 11 weeks, and it is showing significant signs of improvement now. But the first 3 sets of x-rays I had taken were not all that encouraging, and I was really disappointed about that. But the last set that I had taken, which was a little over a week ago now, showed significant progress in healing. So that was really good. Enough that my doctor, and he is a sports medicine physician, so he specializes in this kind of thing, said I was cleared to run. He said he was comfortable that the fracture had stabilized enough that I could start running. And we specifically talk about the marathon training programs and the intensity and all that kind of good thing. And he was confident that I could start training and that I should be able to run Chicago 2025 this year. So that was all really good news, but I'm still going to be very, very mindful of what it is that I'm doing and putting my body through and listening to that. So along those lines, in the past, if you watch some of these, you know that I really like the Garmin marathon training programs, and really all of the Garmin programs that are out there. They're free to use. If you have a Garmin device, it's really awesome because it loads the workouts to your device itself. And I think they do a really good job, but I'm not going to be using that this time around. In fact, this is going to be the first marathon that I really trained myself for. So this is going to be kind of an interesting journey. So I'm going to be laying out my workouts probably a week ahead of time, but always hold it in my back pocket that I can pivot and change and do something different if my body's telling me that that's what I need to do. I will be pulling workouts and so on from Garmin, but I'm also going to be pulling them from other places too. From Strava, from Stride, and some of the other places where I have access to really high quality training programs that I can pick and choose from and just build my own. So that's the plan going forward. And I'm going to have to really be mindful and listen to my body. So a part of this is going to be starting out as almost a return to run program. I've got a few miles in my shoes since I was cleared to run, and so far so good. So far so good. And I'm going to be running in, a lot of different shoes, but probably not that many plated shoes. I'm going to be really focusing on daily trainers and max stability shoes and that kind of thing to get my workouts in. In fact, I got a pair of stability shoes on my feet right now as I talk to you. I'm wearing the Mount to Coast P1s. I really enjoy Mount to Coast. As a new shoe company, I think that they just hit it out of the park. I don't know if you guys have run in any of their shoes. Maybe you could talk about that in the comment section below. That would be awesome. But some other shoes that I'm really enjoying, I'm going to be spending some time in. This is the Keanu 32. I put a lot of walking miles in these, and that's part of my marathon training plan this year. Is I'm doing a lot more walking, and that's because I watch my granddaughter, and I have the honor and the privilege and pleasure of having her company Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So that's another piece of the puzzle, though, is time. So if you want to call it a challenge, my first challenge is I'm coming off an injury. I'm still having a bone that I snapped in half that is still healing. But then the second challenge is time. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, when I have my granddaughter and my little peanut butter, absolutely love her. Oh my gosh, just the light of my life. But anyway, is I pick her up around 7 a.m. or I leave my house to pick her up about 7 a.m. And her mom picks her up around 6 p.m. So that means that any workouts that I'm going to be doing for half the week are going to have to happen before I leave to go pick her up or after she gets picked up in the evening time. And evenings are not great for me. I know a lot of people are not morning people, and that's awesome if that's you and that's what you like to do. But I am a morning person for the most part, because by the time evening hits, I am dead tired. The older I get and the more gray I get in my beard, the sooner I go to bed. And it's not that uncommon for me to be laying down around 9 o'clock in the evening these days. And it's still quite bright outside, so it's not always easy to do. So what I say is I pull down my shades, right? So I've got these blinders that I put on. You guys might have seen me wear those in videos where I've documented being in New York or Chicago or Boston or someplace where I do that morning wake up video on race day, and I'm lifting up my what do you call them, blinders or what have you, whatever you want to call them. So I put those on because I need to block out the light because it's still light when I'm going to bed, which is a sign of age. I think I'm getting older. I'm just getting older and I get more tired. So the point of that is I need to get my workouts in by and large in the morning, early hours. So I'm up at 4 a.m. and doing a little bit of yoga and then maybe get my workout in, shower and stretch and all that kind of good stuff to get on the road to pick up peanut butter. So that's what you're gonna see going forward, are videos that might be a little dark in the morning if I'm videoing. I like to videotape and share with you guys some of the workouts that I'm running. My goals for this marathon are quite a bit different than they have been in the past. My goal is typically just to do the best I can with the hope of, targeting a Boston qualifying time so I can get to Boston again. But this time around, I'm not trying to set a Boston qualifying time. Instead, my goal is to show up on that start line and be healthy. And that in itself will be a big win. If I can accomplish that one and only goal, I will be a happy camper. I'll be a happy runner, that's for sure. And definitely I'll be a happy runner when I cross the finish line on that day. So that's really the only goal that I have. Now, hopefully I can make it. Hopefully I can make it through. And a part of this video series is really documenting both the ups and the downs. I don't hold anything back from you guys, as you know. And sometimes that can be a bit tedious, I think, to document and share not just the successes, but the things that went terribly wrong. And, you don't always see that on other channels. Sometimes you only see the good. And then, the downside to that is, and I don't hold anything back against, or don't hold anything against channels that don't talk about the things that went wrong or things that are going wrong, because that's fine too. You want to watch an upbeat channel and lift your spirits. But the downside is, if you get injured, you kind of feel like you're alone then. And that doesn't happen to other people. And it couldn't be farther from the truth. It happens. And if you've been running for any length of time, chances are you've been injured at some point, to the point where you weren't maybe able to run a workout, or worse, you weren't able to run your goal race. And if you're new to running and you're here, if you run long enough, chances are you're going to be injured. But don't let that hold you back. Do what you can, listen to the doctors, heal up as quickly as possible, and get back out there. So never give up. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of this channel. It's just documenting and sharing our experiences together, and have some fun reviewing new shoes and gear and all kinds of stuff. So this is pretty much it for episode 1. I just wanted to kind of lay it out there that yes, I'm planning to get to Chicago in 2025. My injury is healed enough to allow me to start to run, but the types of running and the way that I'm going to get there is going to be a little bit different than years past. So I'm not going to be following a specific training plan. I'm going to be building one on my own, and I'll be trying out some new shoes, lots of new shoes to be able to share with you guys on the channel. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 16 weeks. I won't be posting every day, but I will be posting frequently. So hopefully you guys can join me for this journey together. And let's talk about what you guys are doing in the comment section below. I'd really love to hear if you're training for a race, or if you're going to be in Chicago. And my hope is that I can meet up with many of you in Chicago if you're going to be there, just to say hi, maybe give you a high five and wish you good luck on race day. All right, guys, I think I've rambled on enough for today's video. Just to kind of wrap things up, I hope things are going well for you guys, and that you're staying fit and consistent. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.